This
Well, hello everybody. It's spring, or maybe a fake spring, but we're gonna say it's spring. I'm ready for spring. Okay, well, it is the second month of March, or second week in March. I am really pumped. I'm just feeling so much excitement, so much energy. I feel like we have come through two kind of like crazy months, and we're gonna start feeling the momentum this month. 90-day rule always comes into play, so I'm really excited about this. We have like 12 to 13-ish weeks, 14 if you count this week, till convention. So keep that on your mind. Where do you want to be by convention with your points, with your team, with your goals, all that kind of stuff. All right, I am reading. Oh man, I don't know where my book is. I think it's in the other room. But anyways, I'm reading the 10x versus 10x is easier than 2x book. All right, is anyone else reading that? If you don't have a book that you're reading right now, pull that one up. And even if you are reading a book right now, get that one on Audible, or just go to YouTube and type in 10x is easier than 2x, and you can get a free audiobook and listen to it when you're in the car. And one thing I like to do is to always bring my clipboard with a white sheet of paper so that I can jot down things as I am listening, like little reminders. Because I feel like when you listen to an audio, it's easy for it to go like in one ear, out the other, and you don't like actually glean from it, but really good. And so I'm going to pose the questions to us again because it's so good. And it's actually imperative if we want to be successful entrepreneurs to be thinking of our 10x goals so that we can create the path. So number one thing is, what do you want? What do you want to create? And what are your numbers? Actually, I'm going to invite everyone, just put them in the chat. Like, we're a safe space here. Everyone has basically senior gold points to above diamond points here. So put in the chat what your 10x, like if you 10x your points or income, however you want to shake it out, from February or January, if you haven't looked at your commissions yet, or you're not sure where your points shook out, put one of those numbers in the chat and any other specifics that you want, because I think there's value in getting really super clear. Like, you can say your 10x goal, or you can think about your 10x goal, but when you write it down, that has more power. When you speak it out, that has more power. When you put it in a chat for accountability, like, that has more power, and there's no shame. Like, we're a safe space here. Hello, we're all in Plexus. We understand the rank structure. Like, there's no shame. Sometimes there's months or years that you don't hold your highest paid rank. It's okay. We're all learning to get better at what we do, right? Okay. So I thought it would actually be helpful for you guys to hear what our 10x and or just goal in general is. I don't know. Does that help you guys? I'm always inspired when other leaders share what their goals are, because it gets me like really excited about my own goals. So our goal, for a while, since we ranked diamond, was to double our income. Like, we want to double our existing income. We want to be making over seven figures a year. So $1 million earners with Plexus. That is our overarching kind of like bigger goal. Our people goal in light of that is to continue to recruit and to raise up leaders. So you guys all in this Zoom, and those that will listen to the recording, are leaders on our team. And so our goal is to help you guys get the tools and the training and what you need. I mean, we're not going to go do it for you, but we will be here as support to help you in your goals as you become better leaders, better at network marketing, build amazing, incredible teams with your people and with your teams and people that you know. All right, still letting people in here. Okay, so that is our bigger overarching goal. And like, raising up leaders means we're all getting better and growing personally and growing in leadership skills. Like, I put a little star by that in my notes. Leadership development. We need that. And if you're not currently doing, which I would say, if you're showing up to these calls, and maybe in addition to some other calls that you're doing, I'm sure that you are working on becoming a better leader because you're showing up. So kudos. But I would also challenge you to go, or to be reading a personal growth book. some sort of personal growth book. If it's not 10x is easier than 2x, then maybe it's a different one. But I think it would be really valuable for you guys to all read the 10x is easier 2x or revisit it, re-listen to it, because you're going to hear it with different ears. And we can also have ongoing conversations about the different takeaways from that book. And when you think about 10xing your goal, then it becomes like laser focus on like, what are the top things you need to be doing in order to get what you say that you want. And I actually took a couple of notes today when I was listening. I started back from the beginning because I was like, oh, I probably need to re-listen to that Michelangelo story in the beginning. But I think the reality, okay, one thing that really stuck out to me was this concept of psychological flexibility. So, okay, if you're just jumping on, we're putting in the chat because we're going to be just vulnerable and honest with each other here. Your 10x goal, so taking your last month's numbers or pay or however you want to shake it out. And then you can also include people if you want. Like I just shared, our 10x goal is to be 7-figure-a-year earners or higher, and which breaks down into about 80K per month. And our goal is to raise up leaders, recruit more leaders into Plexus, and also create more gems and jewels on the team and help you all do the same thing. Okay, anyway, psychological flexibility means you aren't your thoughts and feelings. We have the ability to respond, and that when you set 10x goals, you're basically committing to expanding and growing emotionally, because there's an emotional aspect of this, and that we're not overly identifying. It's not saying that we're negating thoughts and feelings, but we're not overly identifying with thoughts and emotions. And Brandy and I talked about this last night too, because there's a balance. There is a balance. And I do see there's some people that really struggle with this type of business because they can't get out of their head. They're so stinking scared. And I would say all of us have to work on that, because it doesn't matter how skilled you are or how confident you are. There's still stuff that we're going to have to work through and deal with, right? And as we expand and we grow and we expand in our skills, like we're going to be addressing fears, right? Okay. Anyways, I thought it was interesting. They said successful people and people that are psychologically flexible are more flexible and adaptive. So I thought that was cool. And they handle bigger obstacles without overwhelm. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed, or you kind of repeat that ongoing story of like, I'm so overwhelmed, blah, blah, blah. Well, this is an invitation to evaluate and to go listen to the book yourself, because I think or read it, because you're going to have your own takeaways based on where you're at in your life. The other thing I will add is leadership development. The reason why I'm so passionate about that is, one, it makes you amazing at building a team in Plexus. So you're going to, by default, by raising up your own leadership abilities and exercising those, you're going by default to be making more income and recruiting more high-level people to your team. But also, the overall bigger overarching picture is that you become a better wife, a better mom, a better human, a better sister, better friend. Like in all of our relationships, we're just better. And I was talking to a more or less retired senior Ruby on our team, and she's like, you know what? She's like, I'm so grateful for everything Plexus has taught us. And she was just saying, she was going on and on. It was like really sweet, and I didn't expect it. And she's like, I don't view myself as like out of Plexus. We're just like in a really overwhelming season with a lot of kids, and we don't have family support in this season. She's like, I totally see myself getting back into it. So I'm chatting with her about what that looks like. But she just said, I became a better person because of the leadership growth development that the community and the training provided. And I was like, yeah, that is so true. And I've heard that from a lot of different leaders on our Plexus team too. So I think it's just so important. Okay. So anyways, impossible goals. We can be comfortable and have an incremental progress and be at 2x, like where you're going to double what you do or what you make. The impossible goals basically helps us realize what conditions need to be present in order to hit those impossible goals, which is why I want us to think beyond just like, I'm trying to get back to my existing rank, or I'm trying to rank up to the next rank. And it's not bad to think about those things, but I think in order to be like a really good coach and like help us expand our thinking, we have to be thinking 10 times where we're at and be thinking like on a, it's like a different plane. Like you're thinking here, like, oh man, I got to get back to ruby or senior gold or emerald or whatever rank, diamond. It's 10x level thinking to be like, oh, I've not even conceived that in my brain to 10x my business size. And that gives the highest return on investment. It causes us to focus our best energy. And also, the goal determines the process. I loved that quote. The goal determines the process. So if we can get crystal clear on what we want, and this is a problem that I see, people aren't clear on what they want. So then you're on a train to nowhere, right? If we don't have a plan for what we want, because the goal determines the process. Okay, he talked about being highly critical of where time goes. And I know some of you are doing a time audit right now. And I would actually challenge all of you to follow yourself around for a day or two and just log where your time goes and compare that to like your ideal day. I know we've done those little charts before too. It's like, where do I want my time going? That is very valuable and really helpful just to see like, here's ideal, here's real, and how do I revamp if it needs revamped to align with what I say I want and where my time is going, where your time and energy goes. When you specify the goal, you find the path. The highest hope people know where to focus to have their highest impact. Successful entrepreneurs are very focused. They say yes to a few things, not yes to a million things. They focus on the 20% that matters. They don't focus on the 80% that doesn't matter. But I always think about the do, delete, delegate from John Maxwell. Do, if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, you need to go back to the do, delete, delegate. Just brain dump everything and then decide what is my do. What can I delete? What doesn't matter or doesn't matter in this season? And then what can I delegate? Okay. All right. I want to refocus. I do want to give you guys time to chat also, but I want to actually, let me check the chat. Perfect. We have 8 responses and there's 8 of Sun. Fantastical. Good. Okay. I love that. Yeah. Any little quote that you like, if you're in a position to be able to like type out a quote, it's always good. I feel like it's nice in the chat to be keeping those little quotes going. Okay. There are a few ways you can invest in yourself that doesn't cost money, but that costs time and commitment. Now, if you're someone that felt like you will show up better if you pay money, shoot $100 over to your sponsor and say, hey, I am committing to XYZ, whatever it is, maybe the Eric Worre stuff. I'm going to be on those calls at 11 a.m. on Mondays, or I'm going to catch the replays every single week, and I'm going to commit to doing the homework on those calls. I'm giving you $100. If I don't stay consistent with it, you get to keep the $100. If I stay consistent with it, it comes back to me. Do that if you have to. I know some people, I think some people are naturally a little more disciplined in certain areas. If you're not that person and you know you're not, try that and see if that helps you commit to things that are valuable. And now I will say, just because you're not paying for Eric Worre's training doesn't mean it's not valuable. Plexus is offering that for us. So I just wanted to make another plug for that. 11 a.m. on Mondays, Eric Worre. You can go catch up on the ones that you've missed if you have missed any of them. If some of you have been on those, I would love for you to type in the chat like how they've been helpful to you, or when we have time to unmute, you can share. Also, utilize what Plexus has. Okay, this is a version of doing 10x instead of 2x. You don't have to be hosting every single call under the sun. They have a Meet Plexus call on Mondays. It's product and business. I was on last week's. It was phenomenal. Last night we had our own event, or not we, but Brandy and Lisa did. And we went to that. So I missed last night's, but it's like 15 minutes. It's great. I think last night was Emily Roberts. Get your new people on those. If they're interested in the business, get them on. Tuesday, so tonight will be a VIP orientation at 6. Again, same idea. I think it's like 15 minutes, not super long. And then there's 2 training calls on Wednesday and Thursdays. And I would say a hallmark of a leader and someone that is showing that they want to rank up in Plexus is that they're committing to some level of training per week, whatever that looks like. I'm not saying only do trainings because that's not what I'm saying, but we need to have earbuds in. We need to be encouraging our people that say they want the business to be doing the same, right? So there's a call on the Academy page at 7 p.m. Central on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So those are things that are easy to utilize, and I'm just making a little plug for those so we don't forget about them. Okay, now, again, laser focused. We are working to raise up leaders, find leaders, grow our businesses, grow our paychecks. And I think the reality of why more people don't see more growth is that we're just not doing the work. I was chatting with Jessica, and she was like, I think it was the first Eric Worre call. She's like, he was like, make 100 list and then go reach out to the 100 list. And she's like, I think the bottom line is most people don't do that. That's like the baseline vetting process to what we do, right? It's going to weed out the people that aren't going to go do that. But the simplicity of this business is that that's what it is. And it's an ongoing hundreds list. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But I just want to reiterate what I said last week that stuck out to me from Leaders Retreat, which was this: stop trying to be an influencer and be a network marketer. And that has really helped zone in my focus, because it was like, you know what? That looks like showing up at an event, helping some leaders do an event, and not that we even needed to be there, but like that is network marketing. Like we're connecting with networks and people and new people when we weren't. And I was really, really proud of Brandy and Lisa both, because we weren't just preaching to the choir. There were new faces there. It was super encouraging. They both did a fantastic job. But I wanted to remind everybody, Icon. Icon is everybody's focused goal. 10 and 2, 10 and 2, 10 and 2. And not 20 and 2, and not 75 and 2 or 0, because I see that happen too, is where people are really amazing at recruiting, but they are lacking in the duplication conversations. And it's the attempt and the act of trying that's going to help you create silvers and senior silvers and golds. I promise. And the weirdest thing about this business is that A plus B doesn't always equal C. And it's the act of trying. It's the craziest thing. And it's like, sometimes you start a month and you're like, I don't know who I'm working with. And it's usually a turnover every single month. Who I worked with last month is not leaders, but I'm talking about like new people. It's usually very different the next month. And I remade my list. So if this inspires anybody, make your goals visual. I'm just going to show you guys. I don't have my boards up anymore because Justin hung them up in my schoolroom, but I have those big sticky notes. So team on paper, and then I have customers in the blue. So I have my 25 customers, because I want to keep them top of mind still. And then I have my 2026 customers, and then I have my lines for my new people. I need to fill those in. And then I have those little pink ones are the people I'm working with. Some are existing people that with silver at some point have communicated that they want to go senior silver, or they've added one and we're trying to get them, they're actively trying to work on getting more. And then I did put a paper up with everybody that was at Leaders Retreat, because my thought is, and if you had leaders at Leaders Retreat, if you had people earn Leaders Retreat, then I'm not saying don't pay attention to other people either, but those people, that group of people, are the most likely candidates to be the next rank by convention. But I think we need to stop assuming that people know what to do and help them understand how this works and how to continue to work their businesses. Because we had a lot of golds. We had a lot of golds at Leaders Retreat. And in order to help them go farther, they need like next steps, right? So I'm going to encourage all of you guys. It's homework. This is the homework. And actually, Brandy and Lisa already checked it off the list, but they're going to continue to do more. This is a piece of their Emerald Strategy Rank Up. So I'll just tell you all, translate it into your next rank up. That can be your strategy also. And I'm not saying it's the only way to skin the cat, but it is a piece, and it does work really effectively, because when you can get in person with people, you can get face to face. There's connection. There's the side conversations. There's the one line that like one random person that's sharing speaks to somebody in the crowd. And when you have multiple people sharing also, I'm not discounting, doing your own sip and share and just doing a launch with yourself. That's fine. But sometimes it's beneficial to like grab an upline, grab some sidelines, do some online Zooms, because sometimes it's someone else's story that really hits home with someone that's at your event. So I'm going to encourage all of you guys to schedule an in-person and then follow the Brandy and Lisa structure, which is they scheduled an event last night and hosted it. And then they're doing a follow-up Zoom on Thursday night and using that basically to create more conversations and to create all the follow-ups. Like, hey, it's like there were people that legit wanted to be there last night, influential people that couldn't come. So we're funneling them into the Zoom. Okay. That's also giving everybody that had people invited, a second opportunity to be like, hey, I know you couldn't come the other night, or hey, I didn't hear back from you, but we have this opportunity that you can plug in. It's gonna be an easy peasy little Zoom piece. First half's going to be about the GLP-1 booster combo that we have right now. The second half is going to be business related. So you can stay on for one or both parts. We'd love to have you, and then go from there, right? Follow up from there. But I want to encourage you to do that flow. In-person event, Zoom. In-person event, Zoom. In-person event, Zoom, until convention. And like, let's just see what kind of stuff we can create. It might look messy. It may be imperfect, but like, what if we try? What could come from that, right? And if you have a network, or if your network is not local to you, then pivot. Like, or maybe you can do some in person, but maybe you start just consistently hosting some sort of Zoom. Or maybe there's some weeks where you utilize the corporate one. I'm not saying you always have to reinvent the wheel, but I do think there's something. And there's two versions of this, by the way. So last night was basically a collaborative. Like, Brandy invited her people, Lisa invited her people, I invited some of our people. We encouraged current customers to come. Like, we spread it far and wide. I think that's valuable. I think there's benefit in that type of event. I also think so. The plan, which is what Brandy was planning and Lisa both, is to host, and this is from Leaders Retreat training. They're putting it into practice immediately, which is we're booking events from the event. That is the goal. And it's not going to look like a big, huge multi-gem diamond event every single time. So like when Brandy's friend Eliza says yes, and like, hey, I want to do an event. She's a local pediatrician or something. She's a doctor. There's value in the in-person individualized event. Now, I may show up to that one, and Brandy, so it's not just her doing it, but it's going to be mainly her event, not a big team-wide thing where if she has people that come, great. If she doesn't, it's okay too. I think there's more ownership for people, and they know it's their event that we're coming to help them with. Does that make sense? So I think it's both and. You can do bigger ones, and then you can do individualized and book events from the events. That makes so much sense to me, and that was a easy little tweak that they shared at Leaders Retreat. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking for a second because I want to give you guys a chance. If there's something that is popping out, or you have a question, or you're doing something that's like working really well right now, we want to hear.
Well, I can talk about the event real quick. Something interesting that I am finding, and I don't know, Brooke and Gretchen, if you have dealt with this too, it seems like the 80s and 90s babies, like our age, and younger, and I'm not calling the rest of y'all old. You just, you're in a different season of life. Those of us with like kids that are still in school, toddlers especially, they don't like leaving their house, and the in-person events seem really hard. Like, I had really hard interest for this. I guess Melody's on here too. I didn't see her. They had, and sports. This was not planned. A lot of the people that were supposed to come ended up, the volleyball team made sectionals. And so Monday night was the sectional game. So I had 3 people just because of that who couldn't come. But I feel so many of them, like, they're like, well, I ended up just going home and making supper, but I want to chat. Like, they're interested, but getting them to in-person events seems really hard. So I do think, and especially when I'm in the tractor, because you all know, like, my time is ticking on when I'm going to be stuck in a tractor all the time. I'm like, I can hop on Zooms. I got auto steer, like it may look messy and it may be distracting, but if it's a group of people who are truly interested in something, that's the easiest way to like spout information. Plus sharing the Zoom videos that we're going to make. But I felt like the group of people that are really hard to get at in-persons are those young mamas who still have the younger, like elementary and toddler kids. They just don't want to leave the house. And then the high school moms are all running 100 miles a minute. So it's a really hard age. Like the people who came last night were all people whose kids were either a little bit older or just weren't in volleyball. So I found that to be interesting. I was going to say something else of what you said. No, I can't remember. Oh, whenever we were like, oh, I was going to offer, and I still am, anybody who hosts an event, like if I can talk them into hosting an event, I'm going to give them a $25 rebate. Well, we passed the clipboard around last night and y'all, they acted like it had anthrax on it. Like they were like, nope. Like they were like trying to get rid of it so fast. And I'm like, I'm giving away $25 with this. And they were just like trying to get it off. So it's not like I passed it around and got this whole list, but we had a banger of a business conversation last night. And like, I wish that we had recorded that because I felt like it was really good and we really had their attention. So I still don't think that we're not going to get anybody to host. Lisa may have had some conversations with her people too, but, anyway, so when we're saying like, yeah, we're going to book off a party, like it's going to take conversation after the party. Because when you pass that clipboard around, like seriously, I don't know if Megan and Lisa noticed that too, but it was hilarious. They were like, nope, not me.
That's funny. I didn't notice that. I didn't follow it, I guess.
It was pretty funny. Also, because I've been that person. I've gone to parties like whether it be Pampered Chef or, Longaburger, whatever it's been in the past. And they're like, okay, we're going to pass around this bingo card or whatever. And I'm like, I don't even want to chance having to have a party. Like, I don't want to do that. So I get it.
You know what, Brandy?
Yeah.
I wonder if Justin felt like he should have spent more time talking about going silver and what that meant. So maybe we need to talk in terms of like hostess rewards and what that looks like, or host rewards if it's a guy. But like you host a party, you get $25 cash from me. And if you help 3 people sign up with the same combo or a similar combo as you're going to make $300 right off the bat and a vibration plate. If you decide to be an overachiever, do 6. Maybe we need to talk a little bit more about that because Justin was saying, like, I mean, it's cool. And he was like, man, our story is like, who could relate to our story? Like, we've done this for over a decade. We make more money than people can even probably fathom. Like, how is that relatable to people? And he's like, I think the relatable story is actually we can make $300 to $500 a month with this opportunity. Like, what could that mean for your family, for your, vacation fund? What could that create? Maybe making it a little bit more translatable into their lives. I feel like our story works from the standpoint of like the perspective that there's no income cap, network marketing, there's longevity in network marketing. But we wondered if we should share a little bit more on that side of things.
Well, and I've never told people what I make. And that I think like their eyeballs were like that big. And I wanted to tell them like, I'm middle of the road, guys. Like I should have said that. After I told them what I was making, I should have said, this is the middle of the road. Like I'm not even to the goal yet,
Mm-hmm.
But I think I think that's true to simplify it and not be like, oh, well, you're going to make this much money when you have 250 people under you. Instead, we need to start with the 3. He's right. I'm going to mute so Lisa can talk.
Were you going to say something else though about your notes or something?
Yeah, this is so irrelevant, but I just want to say it before I forget. Do you remember when we found that it said it was by Billy Graham, but it was like an AI. I was looking through those notes and it was really similar to what you were saying. But it talked a lot about like our emotions and our feelings. The whole thing was called Learn to Act as If Nothing Bothers You.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, is train your brain to remain steady and act as if nothing bothers you, even if it does, because the more you react, the more you lose your handing control over to them by reacting. But then, like, the other thing it said is move through challenges with grace and strength, because that's the power of letting go. And I feel like a lot of us on this call are struggling with having to let go of what we thought something was going to be. Like, whether, and she's not on here, but like people who have lost big leaders, or people who, I mean, Becky's been pretty open about that, but like losing a whole senior leg and a friend and all of that, like learning to act like it doesn't bother you is really, really hard. But at the same time, that is the power of letting go, is that you can move through these challenges with grace and strength. So for some reason, when you were saying that, I was like, is that from that one thing that I still have those notes, but I don't know where that is.
I could probably refind it. I think I posted it. So if you click on in a chat, you can search and by the links. Remember
Okay,
that?
I'll look up, because this is the title, so I'll look it up.
If you have the title, you could probably find it on YouTube. But I think that it goes along with the psychological flexibility concept.
It does. That's why it triggered my brain. I was like, that sounds like that thing that we.
Impressive that you can find the notes.
I have my notes all organized by like mind stuff and then Ruby calls and listen, don't make fun of me. Okay.
That's awesome.
Lisa wanted to talk.
Okay. Perfect.
Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Cause I'm in different zone today, different Wi-Fi. It's weird. So the word party, back in my party days, I quit calling things parties. You know why? It is a psychological thing with women, because when they hear party, they hear I have to clean my house. I have to like cook food. I have to have the kids like put away, like the dogs put away, like all the things, normal life. And, then we went through that time of COVID. It's crazy. And so now when we say party, we're not necessarily meaning they even have to be in person. So I think we have to get a little specific, change the name, like sip and see does not sound like, when we say it's a sip and see, it does not sound like they have to work all week to do that. And likewise, I want to say that if your people are hosting these events, they do not have to skip other things that are really important to their business to clean their house and do all the things. Like I'm saying, I think that there's this misconception of that. And it triggers this little thing in our woman brain that has to be done. If you can make it sound like it's so casual, or you're doing it online, whatever it is, there could be different versions of this. But I learned that back in the day, we quit saying party.
What did we say last night? I don't remember.
Party. I think we said party.
Parties or event.
Parties.
Does event sound too serious?
I don't know. But I was listening to what you were saying, and I was like, yeah, it's finding that thing that sounds like a lot of fun and not a lot of work. That's what we need.
Semantics matter, and like what we do has a lot to do with psychology and whether people say yes or not. So if you guys have any other ideas.
I reached out.
My blue personality would rather go to a party though.
Well, I know. But
go to the party, but do you want to host one?
Host the party. That's the thing.
I'm like, bring everybody. Like, just bring them all. Like, I love that. Like, I love the decorating. I know it's exhausting, because then I'm frustrated, because I'm like, I spent a whole day cleaning my house, but like, party just invigorates me. I just think that that's so much fun. So if you said like, let's go to a sip and see, I'm like, home. You like?
Okay.
It's just, I know it's like. I'm not like everybody else. Like,
it's just got to be a way to describe it, because that's what some people like envision, but it's always like, when I say, if we're doing online, I'm like, hey, I'm going to do all the work. You just invite the people, and then this is what happens. But I reached out to some people that were there last night, customers that were already there, that I think they just bypassed that because they didn't think they were in there, and they really weren't encouraging their guests to do that. Maybe I reached out and was like, hey, I'll have something for you. If you have people that need to hear about the purple drink, let's do this. You invite the people. I'll help you do that online. I'm going to offer you, just like you said, I haven't even set a number. I'm like, I'll have a gift for you. Like, I'll have something for you. I'll give you money, like whatever to make that work, because I know what's going to happen when that happens. We're going to bring, they're going to go silver, or they're going to go senior silver, or whatever it is. Because as I've been reaching out, I'm getting those messages back from people that were there last night, or people that I have an event tonight and have an event tomorrow night here in Illinois. And they're like, oh, yeah, I have this person and this person and this person interested. And so I'm like, well, why don't we talk to some more people? Let's make this really count. Um, I can do that. We can do that virtually if that's what you want, or they're getting capable of doing their own. It's just pouring that belief in them that they can, I think.
Yeah. Well, and this is, yeah, I think also the VIP, or what do we call it? The GLP-1 business opportunity event or something. I love that, especially for those of us who are like, we're working a business. We're not just, looking for the next customers, but I love that whole concept because it gives us the inroad to talk to people about, it brings them in because of the GLP-1, but then they're also going to listen to the business side also. So I like the both and. So anyways, yeah, I like that. I guess if you have any ideas on what to call it. We don't have to overthink it at this moment, but I do think that's a good point. And like last night was an example of very simple. Like there wasn't a huge amount of food. We didn't decorate. Like it was extremely simple. And that's why we stopped doing slideshow presentations. I am a visual person, so I like the slideshow thing. But I do think that from a duplicative standpoint, people need to be able to see. You can shoot from the hip, and share your stories, sip the pink drink, give a strong close, and, go on your merry way. Help people get started.
I was just thinking about what Brandy was saying about younger moms not wanting to leave the house, and I think it's the exact opposite with the older group, that they're ready, they can, and it's easier for them to get out of the house and go to a party. But I feel like I have a big demographic of those women that are in their like maybe mid 50s to 70, who actually like Plexus, and they're some of my most consistent customers. However, anything social media or computer or like that is so overwhelming to them. Like they scroll, they're big time, they're active on social media, but they don't post anything. They're just consumers. And so the thought of them even sending a link to somebody, they don't like, I had to talk my mom off the AOL train yesterday. Like, you still have mom. Like, no, nobody. What? Stop. It's like, it's the same. I guess it's the same problem, but it's a different problem. It's just like this demographic of people that I'm like, how do I get these people to move on, that like they're able to post something and to learn this, but it's like this big block, like they can't get past it.
Would they be willing to host in person? Because I'm just thinking about some of the girls that are like at least 10 years older than me, or 15. They thrive on in person. I'm just thinking of Lynn Hauersile, which I think was before most of your times, but she was incredible at in person. I mean, she did social media too, but maybe for some of those people, it's just like, could you tap into their networks because they invite their friends over? I mean, I feel like Genevieve always made it so natural. She was like, invite the Bunko girls over, do a sip and see. Yeah. I think there's probably always going to be the things, but I mean, Marianne's mom is an example of someone that has figured it out and learned it. There need to be a want to, so I think we had to figure out what the pain point is. And that's one thing I really am appreciating about some of the stuff Trisha Rager has been sharing, is find out the pain points, like always be looking for the pain points. Have any of you tried doing her idea with the not in person, but the face-to-face Zooms with your customers? for the new people?
Well, I'm doing like video chats, not necessarily
Mhm.
Zooms, but like
Not a Zoom, I'm
trying to.
sorry. A FaceTime type of thing.
Oh yeah, I've been trying to do that with my new people. It just depends if it works. But I was gonna say with the Trisha thing, for people who aren't like great at social media or whatever, I love that she shared the other day. She was like, "But are you willing to learn a new skill to earn $300 this month? Like, are you
Oh,
willing to
that's
earn that
cool.
skill, learn that skill?"
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oh, that makes it simple." You know, like people are like, "I don't have social media, or I don't know how to do this." I'm like, "Are you willing to learn it for $300 this month?"
Mhm.
I love that.
Are any of you in Trisha's vault? Amber, you are, right?
I am, and the reason I didn't realize I was getting in it when I got in it, but I'm so thankful because like January and February were like duds and they were like so hard, and I was like, ugh, I cannot check out, I cannot check out, and she just goes like a rabbit. Like she has energy all day long. I feel like it's overwhelming sometimes, but I'm like, no, I need this like fire. And so being
Mhm.
in there, just constantly having ideas of what to like do, and I know you share like some of those things too, but like she just goes cannot keep up. So it was good for me to like, it's in a messenger chat, Brady. Like it's $25 a month and it's in a just a messenger chat, and she just feeds us like training ideas, voice messages she's sending, graphics, like things like that.
Mhm.
It's been good. And then if you want to do like trainings, just coaching call, it's like $7 to hop on. And this month you can invite your teams on it too. And she'll do like she coached me last month. So anyway, feel free to join that. It was really good.
Yeah. I've thrown some stuff in the chats. I just was like, if that gives me direct access to her to ask questions and then she answers, perfect. And then also, I'm like the majority of my day is my brain is in homeschooling, and my plexus brain isn't always on point. I mean, sometimes you guys can probably tell when I am in plexus mode because I'm sending stuff in the chats, but I'm just like, you know what? I need something to kind of trigger my plexus brain or be, giving some people some stuff um, throughout the day. So the she had some really good things to say per the question. It's just, yeah, I feel like she has good ideas that then I can duplicate in some way, shape, or form. But I threw the invite out to anyone in the gold accountability chat if they have questions to drop them below. So Abby chimed in, and I'm like, hey, Trisha, what would you say to this? Because I'm actually genuinely curious for someone who's saying they're doing all the things, which I have more questions for Abby too. But she does have some voice clips that were really, really interesting and valuable. And I'm gonna tap into that a little bit more because I am curious. I thought it was interesting when Alita said, like, and when in terms of developing a silver, she's like, yeah, there was one girl. I think we did 5 different things. I don't know if it's Zooms, events, kind of a combination. I was like, yeah, I don't try that hard. Like, if I've done a couple things and like it's just not working, I'm like, you need to do some networking. You got to, talk to more people. And then I thought it was good. Last night, Justin was like, yeah, how I went silver. I talked to 500 people and I signed 3. So like, I think the reality is people don't realize how many people they have to talk to, and they're going to have to talk to more than 3 people. And like, not everybody realizes that they're going to have to do that. I don't know. Or maybe they don't want to, but anyways, side tangent. Okay.
Well, and that sounds overwhelming because the way that you word it, like the way you first present it, is like you should grab like your mom or your sister or your bestie. That's your first 3. And when you put it in those terms, it's not as scary as being like, well, I had to talk to 500 men on the job site, And like, I know he was exaggerating,
I
but
think,
he's
yeah,
giving the
he was,
reality. The
yeah.
reality of it is, it does take more than just one conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because his point was he was telling everybody, but I like how you word things, because like when you would ask me, even though I said no, like you made it simple. It was very
Mm-hmm.
much like, is your mom interested in this? And I'm like, no. Do you have a sister that's interested? And it was always very like nonchalant at the end of a follow-up. Like it wasn't ever like, let's hurry up and find you 3 people. It was always just like
Yeah.
this gradual, And then once you get the one, it's like, you should really like have a little sip and see at your house. And okay.
Mhm.
I don't know if you read the comment, but something else that I really loved, something that enticed me about Usborne parties. This is back when they were Usborne, so this has been several years ago. They would do virtual events, and I think they were mostly Facebook parties. I don't ever remember doing Zoom. Sometimes they would do like YouTube lives and stuff, but they would present it as like this cozy experience. They'd be like, grab a snack and get your cup of tea and sit down. We're getting ready to start. And like all of us homeschool moms, that's the YouTuber. Like that's the homeschool YouTuber. You know, she's like, okay, grab your cup of coffee. We're going to go over our homeschool curriculum, you know, and it's like, oh, you know, you just feel this comfort. So maybe I should start presenting it in a more cozy, not like Usborne did, but just in a more like welcoming and cozy instead of the cold, hard, what I did. We're having a GLP-1 event. You're going to be there.
That works too. Hey, that works
And
too.
we're going to hold you hostage for 2 hours and talk about the business. They were so eager though. Like we kept talking and they were still, because there were times where I was looking around and they were like soaking it in. But you guys, we held them hostage for 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, we didn't start on time. We didn't start till 6:30.
We did not.
But I did feel like I didn't feel like it was too long because I think we ended up finishing like in 40 minutes or 45 minutes ish. And I thought that was good because sometimes I think they run a little too long and we don't want
Well, but it was interactive. We had, and I learned so much too, because we had customer experiences, people who are already on the Restore, like giving their experience. And it was very much involved. I felt like.
Sometimes I feel like I get a little nervous because I'm like, if someone is not wanting to stay and they feel like when is this going to be over? Stop talking, people. But I have to also realize we don't want to give them such a short teaser that they don't really understand, like they don't come away with the tangible. Like I ended up just reading the hormonal cascade throughout the day because it is interesting sciencey information that gives back like the backstory as to why we do that combo mid-morning. And there was I thought a lot of interesting information that's really important that a lot of people don't just stop and think. Same with if your sleep schedule is off, your hunger cues or your food noise is gonna be louder the next day. You know, it's just, I feel like it's more tools for the toolbox, you know? I love that. Are you willing to learn a new skill to make $300? I love that. Okay, how many minutes do we have? Where are we at? Okay. I'm going to ask Rebecca Folks and Melissa Eichenhorst if they're doing that lead lab flow thing again. I'm just going to ask you guys all to invest whatever it was, $27. I think it was cheaper in February. It's this, and you get a workbook to print out. I'm actually going to jump on the next one that they have because it was so good. I'm just like every girl or guy that wants to rank up, I mean, it doesn't really regardless of rank, whether you're gold or whether you're senior ruby or diamond, it's so good. But it's like, I know sometimes you do training that's mindset stuff and that's really good. This was tangible pipeline, tangible recruitment, because the reality is we can't develop people on our team. Like we can't build a team without recruitment coming in every single month. And we still need to be recruiting. Like if we want to be growing, we still personally have to be recruiting. And we're personally not done recruiting. I think that it's one of my strengths in Plexus, and it's something that I have not been as intentional with, but I want to be intentional this year with it. And we talked about this last week, but I want to invite you to think about your pipeline and to think about it, to think about what yours is looking like. So the stage one, bucket in the pipeline is your cold market. So this would be like brand new leads, people that you've never interacted with before. And this is something I'm learning from Trisha also, is like she's using her social media to interact and connect with as many people as possible during the day. And it doesn't, like if they interact with her story, like it's not a Plexus conversation. She's just looking to interact, little quick pops. And that's a very different perspective than just like post and ghost and blitzen when I'm done with my day. You know, that's just different than what the flow I've been doing. And the reality is, if you want to continue to grow, you have to keep expanding your network. And an easy way is to create content that people interact with that then you can interact with. And so she said sometimes it's just people responding to her stories. And then she's like, oh, hey, that's so cool. Or like something super short and succinct. It's not like a whole full blown conversation, but she said that ends up, they're in your funnel and they'll start coming more to your content to see what else you're talking about. And she does a bunch of like this or that, either or, which of these 4 would you pick? And it's not Plexus related. It's like kind of random stuff, but it's stuff people like to like put their opinion in on. And so she said, okay, so these are people you've never interacted with before. How many days a week do you engage with a cold market? And then she said, you have to follow and engage with people. And there has to be a strategy to your lead generation. And posting is passive, engagement is active, and conversations are like the key. And so I know we've talked a lot about posting. We've done post audits, and go back and do a post audit if you feel like you need to just get a red dot on like where you're at with your posting. And also a really important piece of your income producing activity every single day, and I'm speaking to myself too here with this, is to go back in your posts. If you don't do it every day, I think that's fine, but like a couple times a week or once a week, like go back through all your posts and your likes and your comments. She said Marianne liked a post, and she messaged her immediately and was like, hey, thanks for liking my post. And Marianne was not interested in Plexus at the time. She's like, oh, I had done network marketing in the past, not a great experience, blah, blah, blah. And then it was like another time later that she interacted with something of Trisha's, and Trisha was a stranger to her. So anyways, and then the story has unfolded, but just goes to say, you just never know. And I thought that idea about going on Instagram, influential people that you like to follow and going in the comments, and I just need to make this more of a habitual practice each day, and looking for the yellowish green around their face, because that means they have stories up. And then you can go interact with their stories, because usually those are people that are like cut from the same cloth, right? Of whatever the topic is, whether it's homeschooling or conservative women stuff, or I don't even know, knitting or something. So warm market would be followers, story votes, likers, low key watchers. How many people are you intentionally engaging with in your warm market? So you're supposed to rate yourself in these buckets. I think it's, oh, well, you might have to not rate yourself. These are how many people are you intentionally engaging with. So I think you have to just pick up a number, like a ballpark number. Usually, if you're like not doing any of it, or if you're doing a little bit of it, or if you're doing a lot of it. And then customers in their first 90 days. How many customers do you have in their first 90 days? So recruitment, that gives like a red dot for recruitment. And then how many in the last 6 months? And then Jessica felt really convicted when they said, how many silvers have you developed in the last 90 days? She's like, oh, zinger. And so that's not on this list, but that was one thing she mentioned. Like that was really eye-opening. Because I think sometimes our business is like this big ball of wax, and it's helpful sometimes just to look at the key pieces, components of our business, to be like, which area do I need to beef up? And I have automated my customer care for a long time, and I still have the automation going, but I'm trying to be way more intentional with people and in intentionally engaging with them. And it is working. I feel like it is working. I don't know if it's just like an energy thing. Like I'm like way more invested in them. I'm willing to jump on the phone with them. I think I'm willing to pick up the phone and call them if I don't hear from them. But even just leaning in that direction, I think we're going to have more retention if we're trying. Committed customer, that's another bucket. And then the business builder, which those buckets aren't as hard for me because I'm naturally gravitating to that piece of my business anyways, but for whatever it's worth, I just felt like that pipeline thing was so helpful. And I'll let you know, it was the 17th of both January and February. Let's see what the 17th is. Oh, that's next Tuesday. I'll ask them if they're doing that next week, because I think it would be really good. It's a 3-hour webinar. And it's over like the supper hour. But I think it would be really good if we could do that instead of the Ruby call, just in terms of saving time and be efficient. We could do that if you guys want. Okay, what else? 4 minutes.
Can I share something that's been helping me lately?
Yeah.
I am a pencil and paper girl, and I don't want to be on my phone any more than I have to be honest. But I made a Google sheet, spreadsheet thingy, and I've been putting my potentials in there. And Jason from Plexus, it was his idea, and then I just kind of tweaked it. But it has a place where like you put the name, when you've interacted with them, whatever. But then there's like this drop down box where you like code them as red, like they're not interested, don't contact them, or yellow, like maybe, and then green, like they're ready to sign up. And so for me, that helped my brain so much, just so I could be like, make sure I'm intentional about who I'm interacting with and not just, oh, I talked to her and then forgetting that she was like a no-go. And not like I'm trying to be rude and not like, oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore, but like just making sure my time is spent on the people that have a potential of signing up, if that makes sense, without it sounding like selfish or anything. But like, I don't want to keep messaging the same people if they've already told me no and they're in the red zone. You know what I mean? So like that's helped. And then I'm creating a new one just like for my new VIPs to make sure that I've walked them through like every step, because I feel like that's more duplicatable if I had, because in my brain I know what to do, but then to think about all the things that we do and try to teach that to my team is like, I just needed it on paper so I could share it with them and go walk each person through all of these steps. And so anyway, that's been helping me because I felt like I needed a better system. I needed to free up my brain space. Like, and that's also why I love Trisha's, because it's like, I don't have to think of these things. She just thought of them. And so I don't have to come up with any of it. I just do what she said. That's been freeing. So if that helps, I can send over the thing that he created. But if you guys still like your paper and pencil like I normally do, then I won't. And y'all can just stay on pencil and paper.
Is it something that you can put in the Ruby chat?
I think the one that he created is, but it like I created it in Google, like mine would be in Google Excel, like Google Sheets, so I could get it on my phone and my computer. So like I wouldn't be able to share like mine because it would have all my stuff in it, but I can show you his. I could share his, and then y'all could, because it's blank.
Yeah.
But you would have to take it and create it in your own Google Sheets kind of thing.
I think everyone has to just create, like, do what system works for them. But I'm all about like share, if something's working, share it, because it might make it easier, right? We're all about doing it easier. Also, did you make a little list or a graphic with the things for your team that you do?
Not yet. I was going to put it again in like a spreadsheet, because again, I didn't want to go like, oh, this is in a graphic and this is in a spreadsheet and this is in here and this is there. I'm just like, if I could put it all in a spreadsheet and then say, I know my people are not going to create a spreadsheet. So I don't know how to do that so that they can keep that. Because again, if I make it on my end, if I'm sharing the same document, it's going to be their stuff saved on my stuff. So like with Google, you can't like share the document.
Yeah.
So I may just make graphics for them just so they can walk through it. And then for myself, I'm just going to do a spreadsheet for that. But I haven't created that yet. But I was trying to gather it all up, like all the steps that we all do. So I know like you shared some things, and
I forgot where I put that. I just found it.
I think you shared it in Ruby. Maybe that's where I asked.
Okay. I just reshared it. Good.
But I also need to put the calls down. The corporate calls, I'm terrible at remembering those. And I really need to put those on my calendar so I'm more intentional about using them.
Tina is putting a post with all the graphics for the week on the team page. And I asked DXP if they can make sure that they post those on like Saturday or Sunday in like Ambassador Community or whatever it is. Academy. Yeah. The Academy page, because people plan their weeks. And then if you have the graphic saved and you have the little link that you can just utilize and to remind people, I feel like that's a 10x working smarter, not harder, easy peasy thing to utilize. Because like, even if we do host some pop-up things throughout the month or throughout the week, there's still people that can't jump on Thursday. So then the next invite is, oh, Monday, we're going to do a meet in, what is it called? Meet Plexus at 6 p.m. Central. So it gives always there's something to be inviting to. If not something not we created, then something that Plexus has in place, which is helpful.
Yes. And I'm not scrambling the day up going, oh yeah, that's today.
Yeah.
Invite in the next 30 minutes.
Yes. And they stopped recording them. I mean, you can still get the recording if you like register for the call, but they stopped scripting them because they got really bad last year. And then I think everybody was like, we're not using that. Those are horrible. And so they revamped that, thankfully. So that's helpful. Oh, so we have 5 days of Plexus training so far this month. So this is one of my little things I'm excited about with leadership development within the team. Jessica Heffley, when we were all golds, she was having us do training videos. How did you go silver? How did you go senior silver? Senior silver wasn't even a thing back then, but like, how did you do whatever? Share your story. Make a little video recording of your story where you learn to say what you need to say pretty quick. 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, very short and succinct. So I'm setting up the next 5 days of people to share their going silver stories, or if they have developed a silver, what did they do? Or if they recently went senior silver, how did they do that? So my thought is let's utilize those. So let's not underutilize them. Tag people on your teams. I remember Cassie saying a huge reason why she started shares because I was tagging her and stuff. So let's not forget the easy peasy stuff is like tag your people. And then you could follow it up with a message, be like, hey, I tagged you. I think you could totally go silver this month. And there's a vibration point you can earn in $300. I don't know. What do you think? We need to be having those conversations. And I was talking with someone last night and she was like, she had some people on her mind, that could go silver. I'm like, you need to reach out to them. Did you reach out to them? How come? And so I think we just had to get out of our heads and not overthink it and not over worry. Like the worst they can say is no, they're not interested. But the best thing would be like, what if it is literally life-changing for them? What if Carrie was too scared to follow back up with me or be willing to plug me into information? Like it's literally changed our lives and a ton of people, like even customers. I think I read you that testimony from last week. That girl was like, I had a miracle baby because of ProBio 5 and BioCleanse. Like it revamped it helped my endometriosis. So let's not forget those stories because it's incredible. And I mentioned this last night too, but that's why we keep hosting in-person events, because we resell ourselves on like why we're doing this. It's like a really important reminder. So, okay. I think that's everything in my notes. All right. Well, now we get to go do it. The harder part, which is actually the do. All right. Proud of you guys. Thanks for being laters. All right. We'll see you Thursday night. Don't forget that call. We'll make sure that the graphics are in the chat so you guys can invite your people too. So the more, the merrier. That's what we're saying. All right. See you, girls.